So recently, I've been playing, like a lot of people, I feel like I've been playing some Tomodachi Life. New game released recently. It's not really about this game that I'm gonna make my point, but I will use it as an example here for to make you understand. Because as I was going through the game and like after playing, especially, I was a bit reminiscing about like what I remember about the experience. So of course it's very fun because you can make your friends and they can date each other. Like it's the basic premise of the game. But what I remembered was only the weird part. That's my point. I want to make across to point across is that what I was remembering was like, for example, the very weird text to speech that they use the character, uh, all the weird interaction with the object, for example, or the fact that you have your character being little angels in the shop or running their own shop, or that you have basically like uh, what wasn't what like what was I wasn't remembering, for example, was the thing that was very expected. Like I was expecting that I could make my friends. I could expect that I could customize my island. I wasn't really reading about the game. I didn't know you could do that at first, uh, but that's something you can do. And it's very common. I really wasn't really surprised by it. There is a lot of little detail that's a very common thing in video game that I completely glossed over because that's not very noteworthy. And I would say maybe that's the way I would phrase it is that I realize that it's the case for all the media I consume, all the game I play, or article I read, people I see on social media, etc. What is noteworthy, what is worth remembering, is the weird part. Um, it's not the it's not the thing you expect, and I think that's maybe very expected, very maybe it's very obvious when I say it like this, but actually, if you think about it, you need to be weird. You as a person, but or you as a thing you make, whatever you're making. Like if you're making software or arts, like I do, for example, if you don't make it weird, if you don't make it really unexpected or a little bit adding a bit of frustration or friction to it. Friction is the thing because if you do something that is very expected, very smooth, people are going to gloss over and be like, all right, that's the spec. You are meeting the spec by doing this menu, by doing this island customization. But when making the weird part, so like I said, all the weird thing you can do in Tomodachi Life, or I'm sure you can like think of all the games like this. Mm, of many games you have played, if you think about the thing you remember, it was the thing that was very unexpected or very out there, or just very well done to the point where it's noteworthy. Um, but yeah, basically, and I think it's really applies to a lot of things. Or when you are a teenager, you learn to be that weird is very frowned upon, that you shouldn't do it. But actually, like all the all the noteworthy people that like micro celebrity or bigger celebrities, they have this weirdness in them uh, that makes them stand out and makes them like that you cannot confuse them with someone else. And I think that's a very good lesson to take in life in general. So I think the worst thing you can do in art, maybe that's the point I could hammer in another video, but I'm pretty sure the only crime you can do in art is to be boring. I think it applies to a lot of things. Like for example, I recently applied for a job. I recently was doing a job application, and I was doing everything I could to not be like one in a million candidate. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much it helped, but I got a job in the end. But and when I first looked for a job, I had a very standard CV. I had a very, frankly, yeah, something very generic. I didn't had any experience, so I didn't put any on it. I just put some of my interests, etc. Like some of the thing I did that could be related to some human quality, or I was hoping to, like, you fill a CV like you fill an assignment. I'm sure you're very if you existed if you have searched for your first job, I'm sure you can relate to this. Like, what do you put on your CV even? And that's the moment I started to realize, oh wait, maybe you should not play safe. Maybe that's not the strategy. Maybe that's really the opposite you should do. Maybe you should just be more aggressive, be more weird. And in for the job application, you don't want to be weird in a way that they will not like. But that's the point still stand. You need to be noteworthy, and for that you probably need to be out there to diverge from the norm. That's what I'm saying. Uh, I'm not saying you should be necessarily be above and be the best, for example, but really just getting out of the norm, getting out of what people expect in any way is better than just being one in a thousand. So that's basically my point. Be weird, please.